Hey, what's up guys? Nate Helming here at therunexperience.com, and we have a little debate. We want to ask about our shoes, and should you always be wearing the same shoes every time you run, no matter what? Well, I have my shoe display here, and believe it or not, this is only just kind of scratching the surface in terms of the running shoes that I get and the different type of shoes that I wear in any given week or month. I'm a running coach. I guess that's one of the perks. You get a lot of running shoes sent in your direction. Now, it used to be the case, and I'll tell you a little personal story about myself, that when I first got into running and I found that one or two pairs of running shoes that I really liked, that you would just hold on to it for grim death. You would go ahead and buy, 2, 3, 4 pairs in advance because you weren't sure if the running company was going to change up the model, and then you'd be out of luck. And of course, it would be Murphy's Law, and you would need your new shoe, and it'd be 2 weeks before your big race, and then all of a sudden you have to run in a new shoe, and we thought it'd be like the worst thing ever. And in fact, I remember living in Europe at the time, and I wasn't that good at French, but I was in Switzerland, and I was having to buy new running shoes for my upcoming marathon in Europe. And I was trying to use my French to figure out what the best running shoe was, because all the models were a little bit different and they didn't have the exact one that I had, and it was very stressful for me at the time. Now, as you can see by this wide array of different shoes here, that a lot of runners are moving in the other direction. We're actually purposely wearing different shoes for different needs. Now, I live in Northern California, and what that means is I have access to a lot of different running terrain, a lot of different style running races, and a lot of different events. So I just wanted to walk you through some of the things that I have. We could start with one of the basic ones, and this is the Reebok Cushion, the One Cushion. Really good long distance trainer, and a little bit more of a traditional shoe for those of you guys who are kind of interested in going that direction. Maybe a little bit more of a heel drop here, not a lot, only a couple millimeters, but very light, pretty flexible, a little bit of support. I like this for some of my longer runs for sure, but I wouldn't use this for everything. In fact, right next to it is one of my everyday shoes, again another Reebok. This is their Powerlifter. Now, I like wearing different style shoes, not always wearing running shoes. And this one is very, very soft, very flexible. In fact, I could curl it up in a little ball right here, you see that, and roll it out. I've actually used this while traveling on business trips. I didn't have any other shoes. I've run upwards of 6-7 miles in this puppy right here. Very light. It doesn't necessarily breathe the best, and my calves were a little beat up the next day. But it goes to show that I could go in that direction. So this was almost like a minimalist shoe. Now, if I'm going to go a little bit longer and I want a little bit more grip and trail, the Reebok, the grip isn't really crazy. I would go for the Ultras right here, the Lone Peaks, and we could see that they've got not only a cool kind of funky design back here, but they've got this gnarly tread. The other thing I like about the Ultras is they've got a nice wide toe box right here, lets your feet expand real nicely, and then they have a nice zero drop. So I know that I've got a nice balanced foot when I hit the ground. I'm not being pushed in any direction I don't want to go. So I like these guys, and hey, they're pretty light. Hey, I like to strength train, and I like to move around and do a lot of different cross training and weightlifting. So one of my favorite things is actually to wear some of the Reebok CrossFit shoes. The Nano is a fantastic all-around shoe. Has a little bit of support, pretty light, pretty flexible. As you can see, I can fold this guy up, twist it and turn it, no problem. I've worked with athletes who've run marathons in these shoes. I've also squat and cleaned and done other types of crazy stuff in here too. So kind of a fun overall shoe that I'll wear for short runs as well as some lifting. As you can see, I do a lot of different stuff, and it's nice to have different shoes for those things. Here's another Reebok shoe. This is one of their Spartan shoes. Super spiky, really light. This would be something I'd almost wear if I was, a 5K athlete doing something really short distance. Very, very light. Has a little bit of stiffness, which is kind of nice, but tons of grip for those really wet, muddy, gnarly days. This is a fantastic shoe for that. Hey, it's Reebok. They sent me the pump shoe. Why not? This is just kind of a fun cross-training shoe to wear in and out of the gym and do some runs in for sure. And last but not least, Strike Movement send me these guys, their interval trainer, which again is a good zero drop shoe, pretty light, pretty flexible, a little bit of support. But either way, even though some of these shoes kind of fit the same category, they all wear a little bit differently. And I found that my body's going to move slightly differently depending on the shoe that I'm wearing. So wearing some different shoes, cycling and rotating different ones in, matching the shoes with your terrain if you're doing longer hilly on trails, or you're doing, you know, short, fast and flat, or you're doing something on the track. It's nice to have a shoe that fits those needs, and you'll find that your body will thank you. You'll be moving a little bit differently. You'll give your feet the opportunity to be responsive and to learn and try something new. So Nate Helming from the Run Experience. Do you have to wear the same running shoe? Absolutely not. But still, you obviously want to find running shoes that work for your feet.